Alright guys, so sorry it's been a while since my last video, but I've been trying to fix the Discovery, which has finally got all sorted. There'll be a video on that, don't you worry, but since my OPUS LITE video's been kicking off, I thought I'd do an update. So I've now had it for 4 months and we haven't done a major trip in it yet, but we've done a few overnighters, and just pretty much every time I go out playing I take this with me just so I can get used to off-roading with a trailer on. A few things we've found so far is, well, this come with a trailer anyway, but if you haven't already chose it, the DO35 hitch over the poly block that they sell is definitely highly recommended. I know they have had dramas with the poly blocks, so upgrade that straight away. This ARC 750 series jockey wheel, the factory one that come with it, which is also an ARC, was a great jockey wheel, but it didn't jack my trailer up high enough to get onto the back of my Land Rover, so that was a bit of a nuisance. So I've upgraded to this, and this has been great so far. I don't know how much gas you guys use, but I think 2 9-kilo gas bottle holders is a bit insane. So I'm going to be removing that in the near future and turning it into either like a bin area or a dirty area, like a wet area, or somewhere for firewood to go as we're driving. That's probably not a big deal right now, but we'll get there eventually. Mistake I've made, I think this 96 litre fridge is probably too big for our use, but it is very handy having a fridge this size, as we will be able to stay off grid for a long time. The only dramas we're having within here, which I think OPUS should hopefully address after a few people have complained in the future, because I'm seeing it on the forums a lot. They do seem to do little mods based on what people are saying on their forums, which is good. No insulation on this top bit here, so all the heat during the day when this is closed up is just hitting the ceiling, and it's just radiating inside of here, and my fridge just cycles like crazy. It draws a lot of power, so I'm just going to go down to Bunnings and get some like roof insulation and just glue it to the top and see how that goes. I'll keep you guys updated, but that's definitely something that I recommend doing, or even asking if you're buying one. Another one that I have had, which I have got another video coming out on, is my compressor stopped working halfway through inflation on one of our trips. It turned out to be the switch, so all I've done now is I pulled this, because it's one of these normally, I've pulled this switch out and I've put a heavy duty 25 amp switch in there, because when I put my amp meter on the circuit, I was having whatever the compressor was taking to draw, so 15-16 amps, drawing over the tiny little switch. So short-term fix for now is this heavy duty one, which can take up to 25 amps. However, I will be wiring in a relay, because it doesn't seem to have a relay that I can see for this circuit, so that's one to just be aware of if you do have that drama. There's also a 15 amp fuse inside the battery box from the battery, just a normal, like normal spotlight looking fuse, blade fuse in a rubber cover, which is also for the compressor circuit. That did blow. As far as the rear goes, the rear is fine, but I am paranoid about getting stuck, because there is no rear recovery points on this trailer, which it is highly disappointing to have such a good off-road trailer but be let down by something so simple as a rear recovery point. So I'm gonna have to look into that. I know someone's mounted Missing Patrol recovery points on theirs. Not sure if I'm 100% happy with how that looked, so I'll end up making my own sort of recovery point up. So it was $1,200 to get this fitted when I bought it. However, I said no, because I'll do it myself. This 15 amp inlet cost me $25 from a caravan shop. All I had to do was put a 62mm hole saw in the side of my trailer, which was terrifying. And I've got myself 240 volt power. So going inside, straight away, don't ignore the cushions. I just haven't set them up for this video, but I'm finding that the tables are very annoying. It blocks your legs as you're trying to get in and out, so I'm probably going to go for like a caravan setup table which oscillates off of one point. That'll be quite handy just to move around and swing around. The back cushions, the corner cushions, I will never use them. They take up too much room, they're big, they're bulky, they hit on this the hose, the main outlet from the compressor, they hit on that so they don't sit nice in the corner. So they now live in the spare room. All I'm running now is the 3 bum cushions, the cushy for your tushy, and 2 back rests, which I will eventually get a 3rd one to go off over there just in case we have visitors. But those cushions set up, there's still plenty of room for the bed to be made for the poopers. So all right, now it's probably where the biggest change has happened inside of here. Again, it's probably going to be boring. There'll be a couple of minutes in here, but I have done a fair bit compared to factory. So these don't come with any sort of battery charger from factory. They give you a 240 volt charger which you plug into the wall, but nothing to charge while you're driving. So first things first, 100 amp hour AGM AGM battery, not a fan of it. Pretty much run out of juice every morning. Like, I had nothing in the tank every morning after running my fridge. So ripped that out straight away, put 120 amp hour lithium in, and then obviously with the lithium you need a fancy charger, not just a red arc smart isolator. So I've got the Victron DC-DC 30 amp, great charger. You can connect via Bluetooth, set all your parameters up exactly for the battery that you're charging. So I've got that in there now. I've got the 240 volt Victron charger which is connected up to the outlet that I just showed you on the other side of the trailer. So that was $170. It's only the 7 amp, but 7 amps fine for me. And then I've moved to a main positive block and a main negative block to keep cabling off of the battery, as when I was pulling the battery out to get in there, all the cabling would just fall in because it just had an abundance of excess cable in there. It wasn't a neat job. I know my job at the moment's not the neatest either, but believe me when I say that I've tidied this up. They had everything in there that they needed. It just could have been executed a bit more nicer, especially considering the price that we are paying for this trailer. So that's just something, me being picky. I will eventually get in here again and tidy it up again, but for now I'm happy with it. The Victron 500 amp hour shunt, so this is basically for any lithium battery. A voltage reading won't give you anything because lithium holds around 13.3, 13.4 volts right until it's almost flat, and then it will taper off really fast, whereas AGM and lead acid and all that will gradually fall down. So you can get an idea via voltage as to what your battery's doing. You'll have no idea of lithium until it's flat. So the shunt basically measures amps being used in comparison to amps that you have in the battery, and it will also measure charge amps going in. So if I'm chucking in, let's say 4 amps from my solar panel, but I'm using 5 amps to power my fridge, it'll tell me that I'm using 1 amp an hour, and it will give me 100 amp hours or 120 amp hours until flat. So it's pretty handy. I'll do a bit more of a better video on that later on down the track. I'll also be doing a video on a solar regulator install, which is also Victron, which will be mounted to my roof rack when it eventually arrives. It's been 3.5 months. It was supposed to be on the trailer when I bought it, but they gave me the trailer without it so that I could use it beforehand, which I appreciate. However, it is getting frustrating waiting so long for just the roof rack. There is a video going to be coming out on what I've done to tidy this up, and the wiring and stuff like that, so stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for the solar regulator install, and if you are interested in just general camping videos, and you want to see this thing off-road, then it will be getting towed at a lot of places in the near future. So if you guys have made it this far, and I've done a lot of talking for 10 minutes, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next video.